advice we can give to you. Look at me, I've got my pen, I look official. Cancel all your bills. Cancel all your bills. Now, wouldn't that be good? So, our advice to you is...
cancel all your contracts, all your gym memberships, all your broadband.
Oh, gym? Do I look like I go to a gym? Oh, God.
Things like that. And just cut back.
Switch your supermarket. Limit your beer intake. Cut down on your spending.
Well, hello.
Good morning. It's Friday, the 12th of November, which can only mean one thing. Just over a month till we go.
Yeah, just a month.
Tenerife, we're so happy. Anyway, enough of that. Why are you here today? Well, today we're going to be doing the 6-6 lifestyle, which is...
6 months on, 6 months off.
And how do we do it financially? We're going to give you a little bit of an insight into how we did it, how we decided we were going to do it, what the causes were, and a little bit about our life before. So if you followed us right from the beginning, we've now been vlogging for
3 years, isn't it?
18, 19, 20, 4 years in January.
Mm.
And all it started was for a bit of fun, so we could look back on it in years to come and have a bloody good laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, really, yeah.
But here we are, you enjoy us, so we'll keep going as long as we've got that. That's absolutely fine.
How did it start?
Well, as you know, we lived in Bradley Stoke in Bristol. I worked for an insurance company for many, many years, and you worked...
As a computer engineer for Lloyd's Bank.
down in Harbourside in the city centre in one of those big Bosch glass buildings, didn't you?
Yes, it was.
So I would drop Mark off at the station. It would then take an hour and a half for him to get the train into Bristol and to walk down to Harbourside. And I would commute 3 miles, which usually took me over an hour to get to work. Now, some say, yes, you could have walked. Well, yes, I could, but I used to do split shifts. So can you imagine walking up and down? No. So we had neighbours, didn't we, that we never even saw, really?
Yeah, I never saw them.
Because
No.
everybody was at work. In the daytime, it was a ghost town. The kids were all grown up doing their own thing, and we thought, do you know what? Let's do something else. Let's live, work more, and work less.
Yes.
And that's what we did.
That's what we did, yeah.
And over the years, since we started being campsite wardens, we started off doing about 8.5 months a year, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
At
in
Woodlands.
Woodlands, yeah.
Then, because of the pandemic at Creeley, when we moved to Creeley, obviously we didn't really work much at all there, did we?
No, not at the start, no.
But it worked out about 8 months' work.
It was 8 months' work, till November it lasted.
Yes, and then we went over to Kenixton, which is a family-run business, and they only open for 6 months. Now, was it a worry for us?
It was slightly, I think, thinking that we wouldn't build up so much cash as we usually do because of the missing months. But to be honest, it all worked out fine.
Do you know what? We've saved more working 6 months than we have when we previously worked for 8.5 months. The only reason we can put to that is the fact that we are so much better now. And when I say we've earned more, that's slightly wrong. We saved more. And we can only put it down to the pandemic, because I think the pandemic has taught everybody about what they really want in life. Do you need all these fancy things? Do you need to have holidays all the time? Well, actually, yes, you do. But I don't know, it's taught us a lot, isn't it? I think
yes, I think it was the main thing was going out. At Kenixton, we don't tend to go out so much.
We don't want to.
We do go out, but only to
come home.
To come home, or we might visit a Wetherspoons.
Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Lots of people don't like them. I didn't like them because I didn't like dogs, but unfortunately they are quite reasonable. And you like to get your little pint with your meal, don't you?
I do, with my burger, yeah.
Yes. So I think it's reassessed. Whereas we would usually go out and go to a pub, we don't actually do that now.
No, we don't, no.
We get 4 cans, well, for him obviously, and go and sit on a beach. And it's so much cheap, £5. You go to a pub, a round's a tenner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can't just have one, can you?
No.
So I think we just are a little bit more savvy on what we actually spend our money on. You know, and we don't go without. I've ordered that much clothes, honestly, for going on holiday for Tenerife in a month's time. You have no idea. So we don't live penny to penny, as it say. And
No.
Mark doesn't go short of beer, let me tell you.
No, I don't.
Unfortunately. So that's basically our story, and we decided, having lived in Bristol, we needed to jig life up a bit. So we sold my house in the Peak and bought a cottage outright in Wales, which is where we are now, in the caravan still, I might add, and on the drive. But that's another story. Anyway, we also didn't want to get so old, or older should I say, that we couldn't enjoy a bit of freedom, did
Yeah,
we?
that's right.
So we didn't want to get into our, well, I don't know, how old are you when you get that state pension now? They keep increasing it, don't they?
67 years old.
I don't want to get to 67 and still be
Or
working
66.
full-time.
I think it's 66, but it will be 67.
Mind you, we have got private pensions, but
Well, I'm not drawing on those until it's necessary.
yes, we don't want those yet. We'd like to just have that as a backup, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
We're not going to take any out. But there we are. We've got to get them all together because we've got that many pensions. They're all over the place. So how did we go about it? Well, we needed to do something we both loved, and obviously we loved caravanning. We loved holidaying abroad. So we thought we'd combine both, didn't we?
We did.
And make it into a career. And campsite wardening is the best career I've ever had. What
It
about
is,
you?
yeah.
Of course, he gets to work with me all the time. I mean, what more could you possibly want? Anyway, I've got my little notes here, so I'm trying to get as much as we can in here for you. So we work the summer, we travel in the winter, and it is becoming really popular, this lifestyle. There are so many people wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And most of them contact us, which we don't mind at all. And obviously with the hike in energy prices, the pandemic effect of bills going up, and the council tax increase, which apparently is going to go up about, I don't know, I heard about £400 a year.
Yeah.
Which is mad, isn't it, really? Because we're never here. We
I
don't
know.
even have to empty our bins, only very occasionally. So seasonal working is becoming a popular lifestyle choice. And also, you can get your big tax rebate the end of the following year, and that goes into your savings. If you haven't earned up to your personal allowance, you obviously get all your tax back. Or you can do the marriage allowance. If one of you earns more, flick it over. Don't pay tax unless you have to. There's always little ways of tweaking it. So basically, what did we do next? Well, we reassessed all our bills. We cancelled subscriptions we didn't use. We now only have one phone because obviously we're always together. So why do we need two? So that's a contract down. We don't have cars on finances, caravans on finance. We don't have any of that, do we?
No, we don't know.
So we had to reassess. We stopped eating out. We now have just my cooking.
Oh dear. Don't know how to survive that.
Don't be so rude. And we cut down on beer.
Unfortunately.
So we left our jobs in Wales in December 2017. We'd saved as much as we possibly could before that, and then we headed off into the unknown to Spain. And you remember, if you followed us, that's where our story started. So the secret to be able to do this 6 months on, 6 months off, or as we call it, the 6-6 lifestyle, is to look at your budget. I mean, really look at it. See what you can pay off now before you start doing it, and just really sign up for the offers, the pubs, at the pubs. Sign up for the pubs.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Sign up for any apps, for any offers, and you know, I mean, it's not hard, is it really? I mean, this is how we do it. It's not necessarily the way that you may do it. You also may have some better ideas. That's absolutely fine. There is no right way or wrong way to do this. It's just what works for you. So every March, I buy a little book. Can you see that? Normal is boring. And that's, yes, absolutely. I don't want to be normal. And every March before we start, book, calculator and pen, and I keep records of the previous years, month in, month out, and I see where the bills are going. And I've got a pretty good idea then of if April this year, for example, how does it compare to last year? Well, there was no comparison really, because obviously it was the pandemic, wasn't it?
It was.
But I can look at the previous years from Woodlands and see what it was like. Where were we in September? How much had we saved? Set yourself a budget, okay, of what you need to survive the winter. So basically what you do, you have your target for your very last payday. That's how we do it anyway. We hit our target in August this year. That just goes to show how good our cutting back and looking at things in different ways is going, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So we had a little bit more to spend on the house, which we'll go on to in a minute. So basically it's a projected forecast. So every month, for the months that you're working, work out how much your bills are. Chuck that away into an account. Honestly, we've got about 5 different accounts. We always do our Christmas shopping in October. We've only got the girls to buy for, haven't we?
Yeah, we buy for the girls and the parents.
And that's it. And we don't go overboard. I mean, and we say to them, don't buy us anything, because just keep your money, because they're young and they don't need to spend it on us. And then anything that's left over from that month, say from April, say your bills are £800, you've earned £1,600. Also, we put our food into that as well, and petrol or what have you. That goes into an account. Then I'll have a Christmas account, so I'll put a little bit of money into there. And then the rest of it goes in the pot. When I say pot, obviously it's in the bank, but and then that just accumulates. So I can our bills are pretty much consistent, aren't they?
They are, yeah, pretty much the same.
Unless I've gone on a spending spree, which doesn't happen very often. Wow, it did a bit this year, didn't it?
It did.
I could have saved a lot more had I not decided to buy every dress around. But there we go. Anyway, so that's basically how we do it. And then you've got a big wad of money, which is in your savings pot. Now what you need to do then is work out where you're going for the winter, what you're going to be doing, how much is it going to cost, and then also your spending money. And that will be in your little pot. So that needs to be there. Then you need to have money in that pot that will cover you then for 6 months' bills, because they're always going to be there. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of those.
Can't get rid of bills, council tax, etc. We
Yeah.
still got to pay it.
Yeah, which we'll go on to in a minute. So basically, you need to add up 6 months of bills, plus your holiday money that you want, and paying for the cost of your holiday. And that needs to be in your pot. And then when we get there, we siphon it all off. I write everything down, don't I?
You do?
We have a budget for food, which we found another way of doing. We've got a freezer here at home. My God, we're saving some money, aren't we?
Yeah, we buy a lot of frozen goods at the moment.
We're putting it all in, and then I do a meal planner, and we're literally living on about £30 a week. We used to spend nearly 70 because we didn't have a freezer in our freezer in our caravan. If you've got one, you'll know, crap. They're really rubbish, and they're about this big, and you can't get anything in it. So I think next year we're going to put a freezer in the awning, aren't we?
In the awning,
because
if it'll work.
so much money. Honestly, we don't have to go to the shop. It's great, isn't it? So that's basically how you do it, really. Now, obviously, a lot of people become campsite wardens and sell up their home. That is something we never wanted to do.
No, we've always got a base, just in case.
You never know what's going to happen in the future. One of you could become ill. You just don't know, do you? And I always like to know I've got a home. Now, we don't rent it out. Obviously, nobody would want to in the state it is in at the moment.
No.
But we don't rent it out because that is our home. We can come to it whenever we want to. We come home every week, don't we? And
we do, yeah.
it's great now because it's only up the road. And it's there for us if we need. Look at the pandemic. Look how some campsite wardens were treated by some of the campsites. Horrendously. They chucked them off, and these poor people who'd spent all their house money on a swanky old motorhome had nowhere to go.
They were living in laybys, weren't they? Yeah.
Imagine if, the possibility of that happening again is, I would imagine, is quite, what's going on with the world? But that's another story anyway. So we've always got a home. You don't know what the future holds, and it's always our plan B. So we do have household bills to pay. Obviously we're not here a lot, so we don't use much electric or gas. It's just standing charges, and unfortunately our council tax has no reduction anymore. We used to get a reduction.
We used to, yeah.
If I boot him out, then obviously I'll get a reduction.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I don't know. It's cheaper for one person to live in your house than it is for none, which is absolutely bats, isn't it, really? I don't know. I could pretend that you've ran away, couldn't I? Went away with Stella Artos.
Yeah. San Miguel.
Yeah. Yeah. See if you can do it. I mean, we did it, didn't we? And we're useless with money. Well, we were.
We were, yeah.
We're not now. I wasn't really useless. I was getting better. And if you can't do it just yet because the kids are still young, you know, think about it in the future, because it's never too early to start planning your route to where you want to go. I mean, if you've got no goal, how do you know where you're going? And that's what we do. We are having the most fabulous time, made even better in the next few weeks, when it will be nearly time to down tools. What, 2 weeks today, isn't it? We're downing tools.
Downing tools, yeah.
And we're going off. And we're off to Tenerife to meet lots of you out there. Can't wait to see so many of you out there that said you're going to be there. So don't forget, you can come with us if you dare. Do you dare? You want to come with us? See you then.
See you then.
Bye.